What's up, besties? It's your girl Morgan here, and you're listening to Your Internet Best Friend. What is up, all my besties out there? I am doing a little solo podcast today. It is currently, I'm looking outside my window, snowing. It is the frozen tundra in Nashville. I am actually freaking out. I'm not used to the snow or the ice. Fun story right before I started recording this podcast. Why am I saying this? Why am I embarrassing myself? I don't care. I was walking home from the gym. I'm not used to dealing with ice or any temperature under 30 degrees, 32 degrees. When I lived in Los Angeles, I don't think it ever dropped below 60. So my little self in my cute little puffer jacket, I'm walking home from the gym, and I hit a patch of ice. And I just imagine like the cartoon characters when they start flailing and their legs just like start going like a hamster wheel. That was me. And then I ended up actually falling. And there's nothing worse than when you're in public and you trip or you fall, and then you have to scramble to get up and you're kind of looking and seeing if anyone saw you. Anyways, that was me. I'm pretty sure at least 3 people and someone driving by saw a little blonde girl in a pink trucker hat and a puffer coat slip and fall on the ice. And I know they all probably got a giggle and felt really sorry for me, but hopefully I brightened their day a little bit. Anyways, that's what I'm dealing with right now, the tundra in Nashville. And I know we had to skip a week on the podcast. Look, it's not my fault. Blame it on the weather. Who knew that a polar vortex was hitting America? Not me. But in this episode, we are going to go over, and I'm so excited about this one because I've gotten a lot of questions from y'all about this. So we're going to go over vision boarding, manifesting, how I do it. There is a method to the madness, and I swear it works. I'm going to go over my 2023 vision board, and you're going to see every single thing that was on there somehow came to fruition in my life. And it's not a coincidence. It is because I very carefully vision board and I actually set aside time to manifest. So if you have not made one yet, I really think you're going to like this episode. If you have already made a 2024 vision board and you want to revamp it after you hear me talk about it, you can do that. But before we get into all that fun stuff, let's do like a little life update because y'all, I can't make this shit up. My life literally writes itself. Even my friends, like I have a close friend story on Instagram, and my friends will comment and they will say, only this would happen to you. No one else. Like it is really, truly hard to believe. And it's almost like God said, this girl needs a podcast. She needs an outlet to share these stories. So let's talk about the chaos that was my life the last 4 days. As I mentioned on a previous podcast, I was going to Vail to go on a little spontaneous, impulsive ski trip. I was working with an Epic hotel. I was so excited. I also just have an Epic pass this season. And I don't know when I became this ski guru that just decided she wants to shred the POW. Just kidding. I actually hate skiing in powder. It is dreadful. But anyways, I'm randomly addicted to skiing. So I want to use my Epic Pass as much as I can. So I said, let's go to Vail. Okay. Well, I didn't really pay attention to the weather. And look, I've seen the DMs. A million of y'all messaged me saying, why are you traveling? Didn't you know that an ice storm is hitting all of America? Or it's pretty dangerous. Like basically saying I'm dumb. Okay, guys. I didn't really check the weather. And when I did finally check the weather the night before my flight, it said light snow in Nashville. And I just assumed that the city was able to handle snow and ice. Well, it turns out that they are, but not to the extent of the snow that we received. So come Monday, I wake up, it is snowing. It is actually a blizzard outside. So I say, okay, you know what? We're still going to think positive. We have lucky girl syndrome. You know what? I'm going to make it to Vail. I'm going to leave the icky snow of Nashville and I'm going to go to beautiful snow and I'm going to ski with my friends and have the best time ever. And I was so excited. Okay. So key part of this story is I tried to pack only a carry-on. Y'all know I am not a carry-on girl. Okay. It's not for me. It's not the life I live. I like packing full-sized hair products. I don't want to put them in little tiny things. Anyways, so I couldn't do that. Also, you know how hard it is to pack a helmet and ski gear and a carry-on. Anyways, I did not do that. I had a small carry-on and I packed my large Pepto-Bismol pink checked suitcase. So luckily, by the grace of God, what was his name? Oh my God, he's the sweetest Uber driver, Terrence? Something like that. So Terrence, we're going to call him Terrence for the sake of this podcast. Thankfully, I was able to schedule an Uber, and I don't know why this man came to pick me up, but by the grace of God, he came in a blizzard to my apartment. And just picture this, little old me, my two bright pink suitcases, and my cute little baby blue, like velvet Amazon crop top workout set come outside. I'm like, I'm ready to go to the airport. And this man is like, you are about to be sadly mistaken. You are not going to be leaving Nashville. There's no way. Anyways, I was thinking positive. I was like, no way my flight's going to get canceled. I would like to say, as you all know, my podcast friends, my besties, I travel a lot, and I have been very, very fortunate in all my travels. I really haven't dealt with a lot of chaos. I've never had a flight be canceled, knock on wood. I've never missed a connection. I've never ever lost my luggage. You know where this story is going, right? Okay. So I get to the airport. What's happening? It is chaos at the Nashville airport. So I start sweating, start panicking a little. My heart's racing because I know I've got to get from Nashville to Denver. I have a 1 hour layover in Denver in order to get to Vail, and there are no other flights at night. I also am only going to Vail for 48 hours. It was a quick little trip to see my friends. So I knew if I missed this flight, it was about to be an utter disaster. So obviously, I get checked in, all the fun things. They take my bag, another key part of the story. And I, lo and behold, find out my flight's delayed. I'm like, okay, delayed 45 minutes. That 45 minutes turns into 2 hours. Then it turns into 4 hours. Then Morgan goes into panic mode. And y'all, no one wants to be around me when I go into panic mode. I start freaking out. And look, I will say, I can admit my flaws. I'm a very self aware person. I know I'm not the best in these situations. I know I'm not the most level headed. I'm not the most calm. I don't look, I can preach about journey in my word of the year all day long, but in those situations, the word journey and like my plan for myself goes out the window, and I just start panicking because as a type A queen, when plans don't go accordingly, I tend to have some issues. Anyway, so I'm talking to United. I wait on the phone for like 2 hours because at this point I'm like, I already missed my connection in Denver like 2 hours ago. So I'm like, I'm not getting to Denver. There's no other flights to Vail. There's no way I'm going to actually make it there. So I call United. I wait on the phone for literally 2 hours. And I asked him, I go, hey, so my suitcase with all my stuff in it, is there any way I can grab it and I can just go home? We'll call it quits. It was a fun run. We tried. They say, oh my God, so sorry. Your bag's already been checked. Actually, there's no way for you to get it. It's going to Colorado. So I say, okay, I guess I'm going to stick it out and go to Colorado because how else am I going to get my bag? I need my stuff. So I stick it out. My flight ends up leaving 6.5 hours later. That's okay. So I make it to Denver. And then that's where it got like a little sticky because I had no plan. There were no flights to Vail that night. I ended up being able to push my flight to the next morning. So it was a big fiasco, but thankfully the hotel was kind and they said, we'll give you another night. Cool. I was planning to go the next day. I could still meet up with my friends, even though I lost a day, whatever. The issue is, guys, I have an air tag. And if you are listening to this and you do not have an air tag in your luggage, I need you to pull open your phone right this second and buy an air tag and put it in your luggage because it will save your life. So I get to the airport trying to figure out where my bag is because, again, when I was on the phone with United, another key important part, I said, okay, I'm going to go to Denver, but can you guys make sure to pull my bag when I'm there? That way I can figure out and whatever, if I'm going to drive to Vail, fly, whatever. They said, sure. So I go and I open up my AirTag, my little Find My Bag app, whatever it's called, and I see that my suitcase is still in Nashville. I say, excuse me? So I go and talk, and then the woman working at the gate agent bag lady, whatever, she goes, oh my gosh, no, that's incorrect. It actually shows that your bag is scanned here in Denver. And I say, can AirTags mess up? I was really perplexed for a second. I was about to write a very angry letter to Apple being like, you are a liar. My AirTag is not working. So I was very confused. Anyways, and then it came on the loudspeaker. So the story gets even more complicated. Somehow, United, every single suitcase on our flight was left in Nashville. Something happened with the cargo hold or the door got stuck, and they just left all the suitcases in Nashville. So none of all the 100 people on my flight, none of us have our suitcase. So I'm like, oh my God. But by the grace of God, this is how I knew. In that moment, I had a decision to make. I said, okay, I can go to Vail with none of my stuff, or I can just try and take a flight back home to Nashville the next morning and call it quits. So I realized though that morning as I'm walking out the door in my little baby blue tracksuit, I, for some odd reason, took out my ski pants, my goggles, and my jacket, and for some odd reason, stuffed it in my carry on. I have no clue why. It made no sense because normally you put your heavy stuff in your check bag. But I for some odd reason, was just like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'll want to have easy access to my Barbie pink ski suit. And for some reason, I put it in there. And then when I got to Denver, I at least had my ski gear. So I took that as a sign from sweet baby Jesus himself that I was meant to go to Vail. I don't know why. I was angry. I was so insanely moody. Like my poor friends calling me. I was like, oh my God, I'm done. I don't want to ski. I don't want to see anyone. They're like, all right, calm down. But if you know, you know, there's nothing more stressful, more anxiety inducing than a horrible travel day where you don't know where your luggage is, you've missed flights, you're delayed. It just is truly an unfortunate situation. So, if you're in it or if you're dealing with someone in that situation, give them some grace because we've been there. It sucks. Anyways, so I don't know where my luggage is. It's lost in the abyss. Cool. They said maybe it'll get to you, maybe it won't. It's like, all right, cool. And then my ex-boyfriend from high school picked me up from the airport, which, okay, that's going to sound insane, but wild story. Guys, I don't know, my life is so strange. Okay, so this is, if you remember my story of my solo trip to Portugal, remember the guy who broke his collarbone? I'm pretty sure we called him Bicycle Boy. He broke his collarbone falling off a bike. That is this man, and we did date in high school, but he is one of the few people from Granbury, Texas, where I grew up and went to school, that I actually remained friends with. And also, high school relationships, they're not real relationships. It's just basically a bunch of kids making out, thinking that they like each other, and then realizing they don't, and then they go to college and go their separate ways. Anyways, that was kind of the situation, but we've remained friends. And he, for some reason, always saves the day when I'm in Denver. So luckily, I hit him up. I haven't talked to him in probably a year. And I'm like, hey, I'm in Denver. I'm stranded. And he came and picked me up. He took me to get a sandwich. And I got a big glass of wine. I broke my dry January because I was so stressed out. And then the man literally let me sleep in his bed, just crash at his apartment. And then the next morning, honestly, this man, a saint. If you're in Denver, date my friend, please. He's great. He was like, you know what? I'll drive you to Vail. Cancel your flight. We'll get up early. We'll make it to the mountain. It was supposed to be a bluebird, beautiful day. So, of course, my ass is like, get me to a mountain. My flight was not going to leave until like 11 to get into Vail. So I was going to miss the whole day skiing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to cancel that flight. We're going to get up at 6:30 in the morning. We're going to drive. We're going to get on the slopes. It's going to be epic. And for some odd reason, he agreed with me. I said, okay, I must be a convincing person. I don't know. So we woke up the next morning. I was renewed energy. I was excited. I was ready to seize the day. My awful travels were over. So we get in the car, have my little Starbucks drink. We're driving. At first, the map said like an hour 45, maybe 2 hours to get there. I was like, sick. Be there by 9:30. I'll meet my friends on the slope. Well, I-70s, if you are in Denver or in Colorado, you know that highway. I-70 is a nightmare. It's the highway from hell. I've never had a good experience with it. Anyways, we're on the middle of the road and we come to a standstill stop. And we realize they have shut the highway down because like of an avalanche warning. I was like, oh my God. So our time went from 2 hours to 6 hours to get from Denver to Vail. I was like, this has to be a sick joke. Also, friends, an important part of this chaotic, awful travel saga. I was not supposed to start my period for like a week. And tell me why God said, I'm going to put this girl through the ringer. We're going to test her patience. I randomly started my period. Okay, that happens. Don't know why. My underwear was in my checked suitcase, which is lost in the airport abyss. I had one pair of underwear. Truly a tragedy. It was unfortunate. And then we are stopped on the highway, not moving. Guess who drank? Because she is a hydrated girly. I drink more water than a whale, essentially, but I was just chug-a-lugging because I wanted to stay hydrated once I got in the mountain. I had to pee so bad. And I was like, this is not going to end well for me. I've got one pair of underwear. I'm on my period. I have to pee. There's white snow. Anyways, disaster. I start freaking out. So we sit in traffic for probably an hour. My legs are crossed. I'm like, you know what? Just hold it together, Morgan. And then God decided to bless me and they cleared the road. We were able to move. Anyways, long story short, I made it to Vail. All was well. I ended up on that damn mountain in some beautiful ass weather. And I will say, this is where that word journey, once I got over the stress of travel and losing my luggage, it really was kind of a crazy journey. And I always go back to that word I chose where in the moment it makes no sense. Why is this happening to me? This is so unfortunate, so unfair. Poor me. And then you realize once you go through all the shit, why it had to happen. It teaches you something, whether it's patience, whether it's a life lesson, who knows? But I appreciated being on that mountain 10 billion times more because of everything that I went through. And it was a beautiful day. And even better, let's talk about chairlift Greg. Have you ever met someone, friends, besties? You meet a person and they honestly restore your faith in humanity. We've all met those kind strangers. If you know, you know. But I feel like in the world, we don't, I don't know. I feel like it's so rare to come across just like a gem that you just meet out of the blue because we're busy people. We have our nose in our phones. We're looking down. We're not paying attention. We're too busy to talk to other people or we're with our friends. We don't want to meet new people. But let's talk about the saint gem of a human that I met, which was a 65-year-old cutie pie angel named Greg that I met on the chairlift. So had a great time. Still had no clue where my luggage was. The next day, my friends, obviously because I got in a day late, weren't skiing. But I said, I feel like I should go up on the mountain. And I was so torn. I was 99% sold that I wasn't going to go because the conditions the next day, you couldn't see shit. It was dumping snow. It was cloudy. It was cold. It was just not fun conditions. But for some odd reason, I was like, you know what? I'm already here. I'm in my ski gear. I have a pass. Might as well seize the day. Let's go up. So I go up on the mountain. It's a foot of powder. And I'm a intermediate skier, but I still don't love powder. It's just like a miserable experience. It hurts my quads. I always get stuck. It's just not fun. I like a blue sky and a groomed blue run. Anyways, I'm in the powder. It's not that fun. I can't see anyone and I'm in a neon pink outfit. So at least if I get lost, if there's an avalanche, they'll be able to find me. So I guess that was a plus. But I'm going on my little lift. And this kind gentleman was like, hey, can I ride with you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm literally alone on a mountain. So we strike up a conversation. He was just so pure. And I was kind of in my own world. I was honestly not thrilled about the weather. I was not thrilled about my skiing form because it was just hard and the snow was not fun. And he's like, oh my God, what are you doing? Where you're from? I told him, I was like, I'm skiing by myself. And he mentioned his name's Greg. He's a former ski instructor. He lives in Vail. So we just kind of chit chatted and he complimented my outfit. He's like, man, I love your Barbie outfit. Like, that is such a bold statement. I'm like, I know. That is how I live my life. And then said he was proud that I, was on the mountain without my friends. I was like, honestly, thanks, Greg. I feel great. Anyways, we got off the chairlift, said goodbye, went our separate ways. I kept skiing in the powder, was not having a good time. And then I'm at the bottom of the run and I hear like a little voice behind me. They're like, Barbie. And I turn around and lo and behold, somehow this man has found me. Guys, I kid you not, you can't see anyone on the mountain. Like it is so hazy and so much snow. And somehow Greg skied, and because I'm in a neon pink Barbie ski suit, found me. And he was like, hey, like I saw you're skiing. Anyways, like I don't want to upset you, but would you want a free lesson? I feel like I can help you. I was like, oh my gosh, you don't have to take time out of your day. You don't know me. You don't need to do that. And he insisted. And I was like, can I at least pay you if you're going to give me a lesson? Guys, I don't know if you know this. A private ski lesson in Vail is like $1,200. They are expensive. And this random man just is offering me one for free. And he was just, insisting that he enjoys it and he wants to help and he likes my energy. And I was like, okay, Greg, cool. So we ended up skiing together for like an hour, just chit chatting about life. He helped me so much. He was like helping me with my poles and my turns. And honestly, by the end of the hour, I'm not going to lie and I'm going to brag on myself. I basically was an Olympic athlete. I was going for gold. I was ready to get a ski medal. I don't know, an Olympic gold medal for skiing. I don't know. But he was so helpful. And then he was like, we went our separate ways, and he gave me his, this is how precious this man is. I feel like now, the youngsters, we give people our Instagrams or social media accounts. He had a legitimate flyer in his pocket and he pulled it out. He said, I'm also a tennis instructor and I really think you should come back to Vail in the summer. It's so beautiful. So he gave it to me and he was like, here's my contact information. If you're in Vail, please hit me up. I'll give you a free tennis lesson. Precious angel sent from Jesus himself. We love Greg. And then he also gave me his phone number if I ever needed anything or I was alone in Vail and needed help, and gave me all these restaurant recommendations. Apparently, Lenona is like his favorite restaurant. He knew the owner and he was insisting that I go there. So I made a promise to chairlift Greg. I was like, I will go there. Anyways, we went our separate ways. Later that night, I made it a point to go to this Italian restaurant because chairlift Greg, he just seemed so pure and he was so excited for me to go try this pasta. So I go in, and this is how I know the universe, fate, everything aligns for you. Everything is working in your favor if you really believe. So I go in, and this is one of the most, popular restaurants in Vail. It's pretty expensive, whatever. Of course, you have to have a reservation. I did not have one. So I walk in. It's like, hey, it's me and my friend. I was like, we don't have a reservation. Is there any way we could get a table for two? My friend Greg, he sent me, he knows the owner, whatever. So the poor hostess is looking around, and obviously it's a completely full restaurant. And then she looks down. She goes, oh my gosh, you're in luck. One of the tables did not show up. They're like 15 minutes late. You guys can have their table. So we ended up not having to wait more than 3 minutes, got a table. The lobster pasta. Oh my God, I know it reminds me of that TikTok song. You know what I'm talking about, friends. Delightful. So I ended up texting Chairlift Greg, and he was so excited that I went. So yeah, and then the story, one more heartwarming touch of this Chairlift Greg story. The next morning, I'm stressing out because the weather again is atrocious. I needed to go home. I was so scared I was going to get stuck there again or have an awful travel day. They were closing highways in Vail. I was freaking out. So I'm on the treadmill, I'm working out, and I get a call from like a Vail number. And I guess I had forgotten to save Chairlift Greg's number. So I just happened to answer it, which normally I would not while working out. Lo and behold, it's Chairlift Greg. And he is so sweet. He was checking in on me, making sure I was able to get out. He told me, if I'm stuck in Vail, to let him know if I need any help. And I assured him, like, I will let you know. But by the grace of God, I was able to get out. That is the important part of that story. But guys, if you learn anything from my Chairlift Greg story, it is that there are still kind humans in the world. And the energy that you put out into the world is the direct energy that you are going to get back. So no matter where you are, smile at strangers, strike up conversation, have just a warm presence, a warm energy. And you are going to, I promise you, once you open yourself up in that way, you are going to meet amazing people. They're going to walk right into your life and they're going to, I don't know, open your eyes to so many things and honestly restore your faith in humanity. Because we love Chairlift Greg and that happened. And I don't know, anytime I'm told the best compliment you can give me, the one that makes me more excited than I like your abs or I like your teeth or you got great hair. And I'm like, it's fake, it's extensions. The best compliment someone can give me is, oh my gosh, you have great energy. Because I know that is going to directly bring people like me into my life. So with that being said, next time you're alone on a mountain or on a chairlift, talk to your neighbor. Who knows? Maybe you'll meet another chairlift Greg. If you're in Vail, maybe you'll meet him. But I really, really hope, I want this story to come full circle because I hope at some point I get to go back to Vail and I run into this man on the mountain because I just think that would be fun. So stay tuned. Who knows? My life is honestly insane, and weird things happen. So I wouldn't put it past anything that I will run into Chairlift Greg again. Speaking of the new year and vision boards, y'all know what I'm manifesting? Good skin. If you're anything like me, you get wildly overwhelmed when it comes to skincare. Like, what serum, what moisturizer, y'all, it stresses me out. But as I approach 30, my goal is to follow a skincare regimen and stick with it. I've talked all about Typology on my Instagram. It's a skincare brand from France we love. And I just wanted to remind you guys about how much I adore it. If you also want to be a manifesting, vision boarding skincare guru this year, but don't know where to start, you can take the Typology Skin Diagnostic Quiz. It only takes 4 minutes, seriously, so easy, and it's validated by dermatologists. It gives you a personalized routine specifically for your skin and what it needs. It's easy, and they even send you a breakdown of which products to use and when. Let me tell you how excited I was to open my box, see all the skincare. Their packaging is so aesthetically pleasing, which you know that I love. And then I saw a list mapping out what order to use everything. Oh my gosh. This has made following a routine and sticking with it so easy for myself. Plus, it's all clean ingredients. And if you have sensitive skin like myself, it is chef's kiss perfection. Every morning, I start with my wash, toner, moisturizer, and the stuff I'm addicted to currently, the Glow Drops. These shimmery little drops give the skin the most glowy look. We are team glazed donut over here, y'all. Honestly, everything about it is so great. So if you want to check them out and take your own skin diagnostic quiz, I've linked it in the description of the episode. And for a limited time, you will receive a free yellow clay mask when you spend $40 more. Anywho, there's my little Vail update. Let's talk if you've gotten this far, and if you've been listening to this podcast waiting for this moment. I'm sorry you had to go through all of that, but let's talk about manifestation and making a vision board and the Morgan method. Because, guys, not to brag, but I do consider myself an expert vision board creator. So before we get into everything from my last year's vision board and how I made it happen and everything that's on my upcoming vision board, maybe that will inspire you to put some things on yours. I want to talk about this Morgan method of vision boarding because I really do think it is helpful and I think it works. So let's break it down, shall we? Okay, so if you're making a vision board, if you haven't made one yet, look, I think it's fun to get with your girlfriends and cut things out of magazines. Yeah, that's a cute idea, but I don't think it's effective, okay? I just think that's kind of like arts and crafts. No, 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 no. We're taking this seriously, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to follow these steps and then you're going to put this vision board that you create as your phone background and you're going to put it as your computer background and you're going to look at it every single day. And even if you aren't actively paying attention to it, I promise you, your subconscious is going to be picking up on it. And somehow, by always looking at it and always having it on your background, you're going to manifest everything on that vision board. So, step numero uno, you're going to pull out your notes app on your phone, or if you have your journaler, you're a pen and pencil kind of girl, take out a piece of paper and you're going to start writing out and just brainstorming every single thing that you want for this year. And I break it down into categories. So what I break it down into, I like to break it into career, financial, relationship, personal, travel, and then health and wellness. And then I write everything. So I'll read to you some of the things I wrote on mine. So for career with the podcast, I would love to sign with a network. I want my app to grow to over 100 subscribers. I want to hit 100,000 on TikTok, etc. You guys get it. For financials, I said lower monthly spending. We'll see if that happens. For now, I'm reading all this. I'm like, relationship. What do we want from that one? Anyways, you get the gist, guys. You're just going to brainstorm everything and keep it in your notes. And then from there, step number 2, you're going to open up Pinterest. If you're not a Pinterest girl, you should be one because it is such a fun place to get so many ideas. But you're going to create a Pinterest board that says like 2024 manifestations, 2024 vision board, and you're going to go through that list you created on your phone and you're just going to start pinning pictures that go with every single thing that you wrote down. And if you want like very aesthetic photos, like the vibey ones, I don't know if you saw my vision board on Instagram, I posted on my story. If you want vibey ones, type in, like, say you want to travel to a new place, type in travel. And then if you put the word aesthetic behind it on Pinterest and click search, I don't know, for some reason, it just pulls up way better photos. So there's your little fun fact of the day. So you make your vision board. Step number 3, you're going to go through that vision board and you're going to scroll, you're going to look at all the photos, and the photos that stand out the most, the ones that really impact you, you're going to save in a file on your computer. Those are the photos of the things that you really, really want. Okay. And then from there, step number 4, you're going to go to Canva. Honestly, Canva should be sponsoring this podcast because I'm about to blow them up because I love this app. Or you can do it on your desktop, just Canva, canva.com. You're going to open Canva. You're going to search in the templates. You're just going to type in vision board. There's a bunch of different templates. You can just fill in the photos. It's super easy, but pick one that you want. And then you're just going to start putting in the photos. And if you're like me, I like to add text of like my word on the year. I like to put 2024 on it. I like to put other phrases. You can just make it as fun as you want. And here is a fun little fact of if you want to put it as your desktop and your phone background and actually make it fit. So on Canva, I don't know where it is on the desktop versus the app, but there's a little button when you're editing your template and it says magic switch. If you click that button, God, I should write a book on just fun social media tips. If you click on magic switch, it's going to allow you to change your template to different sizes. So I'll create a phone template, I'll change the size, rearrange everything, and I'll save it as like a desktop format. And then I will add it as my computer background. And then every single day, you know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at my vision board and what I want for the year. And y'all, I promise, it honestly makes me upset when people in my life don't make vision boards. Like I tried to get all my girlfriends to make one. And I mean, we're busy. We all have different lives and jobs, etc. But they haven't made one yet. And I hope they're listening to this podcast and do make one because, guys, what you want, you can absolutely get. And I know I sound kind of crazy. I sound kind of woo-woo for that statement, but I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. So, with my 2023 vision board, I'll have to post these all on the podcast Instagram so you can kind of see. I actually made a TikTok and a reel about what was on my 2023 vision board and how I actually made it happen. Like, there's photo proof. I got video proof, guys. It works. But for example, I put a picture of a small little town in Spain called Valdemosa, a specific street that for some odd reason I was dead set on visiting again. So I put that on my vision board and I have a video. I didn't even really realize it until after I took the video. I have a video of me skipping down the street in Valdemosa on that same exact street that was on the photo in my vision board. Okay, y'all, that's freaking wild. Okay, what are the odds? Then I also put a photo of a white couch with like pink and leopard pillows on my vision board. This is before I even moved to Nashville. This is before anything, before I, saw my apartment, before I bought any furniture. That couch is now sitting in my apartment. Those pillows, I have the exact pillows. And I kind of did do that on purpose because I did really like that aesthetic. Well, that was not by chance. But I'm telling you, I'm now in my dream apartment with my dream couch and my dream little cute pillows. What else? I put a picture of just a podcast studio. And at first, it's funny how your vision board can also change. And that's what I love about making these photos. They represent a wide variety of things. It's not just like you put a picture of, I don't know, Bali, and that just means you're going to go to Bali. It can really mean a bunch of different things. It can mean you go to any beach destination. It can mean you take a solo trip to Bali. Like everything on your vision board is open to interpretation, okay? For example, I put a picture of a podcast studio, and when I first started 2023, y'all, this podcast was not going to be a thing. I only put that picture on there because I simply wanted to be a guest on other people's podcasts. I never wanted to do it myself. I was like, that is a lot of work. I don't know. Do people want to listen to me blab for an hour straight? Turns out people do. But that was my initial goal. Just be guests, reach new audience, just by being guests on other people's podcasts. And lo and behold, it's funny how that changed from what I initially wanted to me actually creating my own podcast. So that's crazy. And then, of course, I put a picture of, I think it's Beth Dutton kissing Rip. So it's just like a cowgirl and a cowboy kissing. I don't really know what that one was supposed to be. Maybe at the beginning of the year, I wanted to find love in Nashville. But it's funny how that still happened, but it wasn't how I initially envisioned it. So it's kind of cool to see your vision board shift and still come true because I ended the year quite literally. I ended 2023 and started 2024 with the Hot Aussie. So I still kind of, in a sense, I was in Nashville, cowboy hat, central, and I was with someone I really cared about, and I was kissing them at midnight. And my freaking vision board, like that was on it. And I didn't even plan on it. Anyways, freaking wild. Have I convinced you to make a vision board yet? I don't know. If you haven't, maybe you should. All your wildest dreams can come true. And if they don't, look, again, open to interpretation. And let's chit chat about what is on my 2024 vision board. Because I posted a photo of it and actually someone commented back and they were like, aren't you already doing all of that? I'm like, look, you little trolls on the internet. Just kidding. I love you all, even the ones that troll me and tell me my outfits are ugly. But like, stop doing that because I'm going to continue wearing the outfits I want regardless. Um, but I wanted to kind of explain what is on my 2024 vision board, mainly because while I love this podcast and I love feeling you get guys in on my life, it's also kind of like a virtual diary for myself. So for me, it's fun to look back on episodes I've recorded and things I've said. And right now, I'm about to tell you what's on my 2024 vision board. And at the end of the year, when I'm still doing this podcast, because we are not quitting, I'm not till I'm 75 and old and gray in a nursing home. Even then, I'll probably still have a podcast mic in front of me. But at the end of the year, I want to look back and actually see what happened from it. And I want to take you guys along this journey with me. So let's chit chat about it. Okay, number one, which why I decided to do this, I don't know, guys. I hate running. I have never ran more than 1 mile and enjoyed it. But on my vision board, I said, I'm going to do a half marathon. And last week, guess who signed up for a half marathon on March 16th in Nashville? It's like the St. Patrick's Day one. If anyone listening wants to fly to Nashville and run it with me, I'll be there. So I'm going to run a half marathon. I wanted to do that mainly because it just seemed like something to challenge myself. When it comes to health and wellness and fitness, I'm a pretty fit individual. Strength training is easy. Going to the gym is easy for me. Love Pilates. Like, there's not a lot of things that really challenge me. So I said, guess I'll run 13.1 miles. That sounds freaking fun. I have done a half marathon in the past. I also did that without training. I literally showed up. I don't think I ran more than 3 miles leading up to that moment. And I said, yeah, sure, I can do it. Would not recommend. My toes, I had a blister covering every inch of every single one of my toes. My feet, by the time I was done, I also ran 13.1 miles without stopping once because I'm a sociopath. And once I set my mind to something, I don't care if I'm in pain, if I'm dying, if my feet are bleeding, I have to finish. So we're not going to do that this year. We're going to train properly to an extent. And also, I'm sure this had something to do with when the hot Aussie was here. He was also training for a half and he would casually wake up and run 8 miles like it was nothing. And I'm sitting here kind of envious of him. I was like, wait, you actually enjoy running? What's that like? So I'm now determined to become a runner, see if I can do it. Here's an exciting one, and you're getting the tea on this podcast because I've actually not announced this yet. And I hope this still happens because now that I'm announcing it's going to be embarrassing if it doesn't, but 99.9% sure. I've already checked this off. I put a picture of two girls at Stagecoach in like cute little outfits because my dream was to do a collaboration with a brand to do my own Morgan Willett country western festival collection. And y'all, I made it happen. I'm so excited. So Trendy and Tipsy is a huge boutique in Nashville. If you haven't looked them up, they have the best like western outfits, great for festivals. So I actually, because I am a crazy person and when I have my mind set to something, I am relentless. So I kept following up with the owner. I made great connections with her. And finally last week, I set up a little meeting and I was just going to pitch my idea to her. Honestly, I wasn't even expecting anything. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bring it up. If she likes it, cool. If not, so be it. We'll move on. Loved the idea. I mean, it makes sense, guys. I am basically a walking cowboy hat and a pair of cowboy boots. So it just kind of made sense for me to do my own collection. So we're going to do like a couple of different looks. We're going to do a launch party. We're going to shoot all the stuff and you'll be able to buy everything that is Morgan approved and so freaking cute. I already started looking at ideas and all of that. You'll be able to hopefully purchase that, knock on wood, that this still happens, before festival season, which will be so freaking exciting. So love that. Other things on my 2024 vision board. Yeah, I put a photo of a Patron bottle, and I feel like that probably confused a lot of people. Like, what, 2024, you want to drink more tequila? Like, yeah, kinda. But no, that one represents a bit more of the brands I want to work with. So I want to expand my social media. I want to expand influencing. I want to work with, look, last year I worked with Nike. This year I want to work with Nike again and then some more. my dream. And if anyone out there is listening to this and you have a connection with Patron tequila and you somehow know someone in their influencer marketing, hit me up. I just feel like I'm queen of spicy margs. And my dream is to work with a tequila brand to make a fun spicy marg and promote their tequila. Doesn't that just sound perfect? Look, you got to dream big, guys. And this year we are going for gold. So I don't know. Stay tuned. If it's not Patron, maybe it'll be another fun tequila. I really, really want to work with some awesome brands, maybe some airlines. Who knows? I want to read 20 books. I think that's possible. I've already am down almost two. By the way, if you have not read Tinx, her the TikTok girl, Tinx, her book called The Shift. If you're a single girl out there, or even if you're taken and you just want a bit of a mindset shift when it comes to relationships or dating, oh my God, I cannot put this book down. It is so good. She is full of wisdom. I highly, highly recommend it. Anyways, back to my 2024 vision board. I want to go party in Tulum with my friends for my 30th. I actually was just texting my trainer tonight because I was at the gym and I literally texted him and said, by Tulum, I shouldn't be saying this out loud. This doesn't sound good, but it's going to make sense in my head. I said, by Tulum, I want an ass so fat you can see it from the front. And he literally texted me back and was like, are you nuts? Like, what? What is happening right now? But guys, I worked so hard in the gym and your girl was just not blessed genetically with any sort of booty. So I'm really going to hit it hard. And by the time Tulum comes, okay, I was going to say I want a Nicki Minaj, but we don't want that. But I just want a juicy peach, okay? I want my hard work to pay off. So we'll see that. I would love to visit Australia. Who knows if that'll happen? I think it will, but it's, schedules are hard and we've got two different lives. But I really do want to try and visit Australia and New Zealand. Y'all, I put a picture of a cute little apartment in Lisbon. I really want to live abroad this year. Not permanently, but I would like to spend at least a couple months abroad, mainly because it's something I've always wanted to do. I've never stayed in Europe longer than 2 weeks at a time. And I just want to see if I am able to balance travel and also working, because that is my biggest struggle right now. I love traveling, but obviously my job is a full-time entrepreneur, content creator, influencer, and I have a hard time combining the two. So my idea is, can I spend 3 months in Europe and can I also still, make an income and be an influencer? I really think I can. So I put that on my vision board. I really want that one to happen. Who knows if it will, but I have a feeling I might be able to make that one come come true. I want to go back to Ibiza for some reason, even though I swore I would never go back, but that's just calling me. I need to have another unhinged night. I need to have another unhinged night and I need to not post it on my Instagram story. That's what needs to happen. I did also on my vision board, I put a photo of a couple in Portugal. And that's another one that's open to interpretation. Would I like it to be with a certain someone? Absolutely. But if that doesn't happen, that's part of my journey and that is okay. And I would still like to find a fun fling when over there. Again, guys, open to interpretation with our vision boards here. Um, what else? Real quickly, y'all. I want to be a Dear Media podcast. If you are a fan of this podcast, I firmly believe in myself and I think I can do it. I honestly would be happy signing with any network, but I just love all the Dear Media podcasts of the world. So I don't know, maybe DM them. Maybe just like everyone listening to this podcast, blast them and be like, we love your internet best friend. We would love to see her with your network. I don't know, maybe do that. And basically, a lot of the rest of my vision board involves travel, which is probably why people message me saying, don't you already do this? But I really want to go on a solo trip to Thailand. There's a very, very specific hike that I want to do in Madeira. Anyways, it's a little island. It's called the Hawaii of Portugal, essentially. So I've been dying to go back because the last time I was there, it was beautiful, but it was rainy. So I put that on my vision board. And then I really want to invest in a property, a company, or a Chanel bag. I know those are all very different things, but for me, I don't know. I just feel like I want to invest in one staple thing this year. And maybe if I have a really great year, your girl will splurge on a Chanel bag because those are always the handbags that I'm like, oh my God, I can never afford those because they're so expensive. And if I did get one, it would be used for sure. But I feel like if I'm a financial girly this year and I'm saving money and I'm doing good in my business, I believe in treating yourself. And as I turn 30, I want to be better. And I don't know if you're anything like me, where I don't spend money on dumb things. And as I say that, I think about the Amazon order I placed literally 1 hour ago with a bunch of dumb things that I don't need. But as I turn 30, I want to invest in staple things that are timeless, that I will use again, like nice jackets, nice handbags, nice jewelry, clothes that are staple pieces that I will wear again and again, not neon pink fuzzy coats that I might wear once. But now that I'm saying that, I know my fashion sense and I know for a fact I will continue to buy outlandish outfits. So maybe we'll just focus on buying like staple shoes and jewelry that adults will need in their life. Um and yeah, guys, that's my 2024 vision board. And before we wrap up this podcast, y'all, I have made a list in my phone that everyone wrote in things that they want advice on. And as your internet best friend who feels pretty wise, I do think I give great advice. Do I always take my own advice? Absolutely not. But sometimes I do think I'm wise and I do love helping people with their problems. So we're going to wrap up this podcast with someone asking, how do I not give up on my dreams? And I feel like I'm a great person to answer that because if there is one thing about me, y'all, I'm crazy. If I have a dream, like literally my family makes fun of me because once I set my mind on something, I am not stopping until I make that happen. I don't care what hoops I have to jump through, but I really do believe if you can dream it, you can do it. And the key is those who accomplish their dreams are the ones who don't give up on them. I think it is very, very easy to have a dream or a goal and then get discouraged or get overwhelmed or just give up. And it's like, why? Why? Why throw in the towel after 1 week? Why throw in the towel after 1 year? Like, you can do it. The key is to just run the marathon instead of just wanting to run like the 1 mile and get an immediate medal. Okay. That was kind of a good analogy as I'm talking about becoming a marathon runner. But my tips for that are one, I mean, on the topic of vision boarding, if you can see it in front of you, I feel like you're more likely to actually work on it. So create a vision board, put it as your phone background, your desktop, whatever. Make sure you're always looking at that. Number two is stay the course. I would say when it doesn't go your way immediately, a lot of people give up. I would say keep trying, keep trucking along, and every single day, do one thing that is going to lead you one step closer to meeting that dream or that goal. So, for example, with me wanting to have this collaboration with this clothing company and do a line of my own for Stagecoach, this has been kind of a dream for a while now. I've been shipping at this little iceberg for quite some time. So it didn't happen overnight. I think that's what people need to know about dreams. You're not going to have this idea and the very next day it's going to happen. So give up on that idea because in society we want immediate gratification now. I think social media has a lot to do with that because we post something and immediately get likes and comments and whatever. Okay, that's not real life. Okay, sometimes you got to work for things and be patient. So with this brand, I started reaching out. I went to all of their events. I made sure I went in the store and I talked to the manager. I talked to the owner. I got her number. I made sure to put myself in a position where they remember me, where I built a great working relationship with them. And then I kept reaching out. I think that's the thing. You have to take the initiative. If you want something, you cannot expect everyone to give it to you. You have to go out of your way to make it happen. Make the first move, send the email, meet the stranger, go in and talk to someone. Do whatever you need to do to put yourself in the position to succeed. Oh my God. Should I be a life coach? Anyways, so by doing that, they remembered me. And finally, when I was like, hey, can we sit down and actually talk about making this happen? Because of all those steps, it ended up working out and it led me to accomplishing, hopefully, guys, no contracts have been signed yet. So I don't even know why I'm saying this, but as of everything that I've talked about and learned so far, it is going to happen. But so put yourself in the position to make those dreams happen and also dream big. I feel like a lot of people shoot themselves in the foot or give themselves the short in the straw, or basically just don't give themselves a great opportunity to succeed because you don't dream big. Like, guys, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're going to land upon the stars. So honestly, believe in yourself, dream big, have crazy ideas because you never know what is going to happen. So why live a mediocre life when you could live an amazing life? Now I'm just on a tangent. But I would say those are my tips for accomplishing your dreams, and just don't give up. You have to be your number one cheerleader because no one else is going to do that for you. And I will say I pride myself, and maybe it's because I grew up as a cheerleader and spent literally 12 years of my life doing it, but I really am my own cheerleader. I am my number one fan. And I think that's what keeps me going forward and accomplishing thing after thing because I believe in myself. Even if everyone else doubts me, whether it's with the podcast, with my brand, with my app, with social media, with all my crazy ideas and vision boards, if everyone else doubts me, that doesn't matter because I believe in myself. And guys, with that, I feel like we can wrap this bad boy up. I really hope you took something from this podcast, whether it was how to make a vision board, a life lesson, a smile from learning about chairlift Greg, sweet baby Angel. I really like this episode, and I hope that you guys did too. Check out my Instagram. I'll be posting my vision boards if you want like a little visual to go along with it. And then we have some fun guests coming up in the next couple of episodes. And that is all I got for you guys. Tell a friend about this podcast. Tell your mom, your aunt, your uncle, your stepdad, your dog. I don't know. Tell them to download it, all the fun things. And that's all I got. I love each and every single one of my internet besties so much. And I will see everyone next week. Thanks so much for listening to the Your Internet Best Friend podcast. It's been real. It's been fun. And I will see everyone here next week. In the meantime, do all the podcast things. Like, subscribe, give me a 5-star review if you please. And catch up with me on social media at Morgan Lee Willett. Bye, besties.